Yo, so I'm gonna show you guys a quick video today of price action. Um, just show you what opportunities that you could have taken today, so you guys can understand the way I think. Like I say all the time. But yeah, so price opened up 9:30 right here. Had a nice little move up. There's news at 10 o'clock. News is a new thing you guys are gonna learn. News is basically this, so you guys can see how what I do. I think there's a mosquito biting me. Never mind, I'm wrong. I thought there was a mosquito biting me. I was trying to look for it, but all right. So you see how on Tuesday, this is today at 10 o'clock, there's red folder news. So red folder news means it has a high impact. Basically meaning like it's gonna inject liquidity in the market. It's gonna make the market volatile. So you can see right here this news didn't really have too much effect on the market today. So usually I never trade if the news is at 10. If the news is at 10, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till this opens up. Remember, we trade at 9:30, but what am I doing? We trade at 9:30, but if there's news at 10, we wait. We wait. We just want to be on the safe side because you never know. Because you can be like, oh, I'm gonna enter a trade right before news. Then right when the news candle opens up, it could wick you out and then just go wherever you wanted to go. You know what I mean? So you weren't technically wrong, but you just had a bad trade idea. And why was it bad? Because this range wasn't a discount. Range meaning this box right here. So if we're looking at this box, this entire box, this is the range. This is the high, this is the low of the range, this is the high of the range. So what do we want when you want to buy? You want to wait for discount. Remember, discount. Discount's important when you want to buy. And OTE. Remember, OTE means optimal trade entry. You could deadass trade with just market structure and OTE. Market structure meaning this. Like you can deadass just trade with this and with a fib. This is called a fib. I don't think I ever explained that too, but this thing right here is called a fib. But yeah, you can deadass trade with that and a fib. A lot of people trade like that, but we trade obviously with different concepts. I mean, the same concepts, but just with more shit added to it. ICT, smart money. But yeah, so if we're looking at this range and if we're looking at price up here, say this shit didn't exist on the right. Meaning, say if we're looking at it at this time, we're waiting for price to come to discount. It's up here right now. If you want to buy, and I had a bullish bias, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna wait for price, obviously, to come down here, and there's a 15-minute fair value gap too. You guys can see it. See this gap right here? This gap. There's a 15-minute fair value gap, so obviously it has like it's a lot easier to aim for this because price is attracted to these areas because these are imbalances, meaning inefficiencies. Inefficiencies in the market want to get touched. So like just like anything, like I mean, you guys will understand more once you guys watch those videos I sent you. But yeah, so the market is attracted to these. So we're right here. So if I'm in this price, I want to wait. I want to wait for price to come touch this, and just maybe even have a SMT, which it did, which kind of spoiled it because I had that already right there. But we want to wait for something. We want to wait for a price to come down here, touch the 15-minute fair value gap, and what do we want? We want the shift in structure, then to go higher, right? Our market structure shift, meaning the change in the state of delivery. We want to see these highs start getting taken out, start going higher, stepping higher. I hope you guys remember that, which I'm pretty sure you guys do. But yeah. So if we're playing this, we're like, all right, now it's the 1 minute. So boom, price finally touched discount. So what are we waiting for now? Now we're waiting for displacement. Displacement means the same thing like I told you guys. A move higher. Displacement is just like an energetic a move up. So meaning like when you see an energetic and like a nice move higher, then that's like another sign in the market that the market is willing to change. So say if the price did this. Say if price like had a small little like say if price barely went above this high, I wouldn't trust it too much. We want to see something nice. We want to see something like obvious. The market will always show you something obvious. We want to see something like this because it's like all right, like that this doesn't mean anything. And say if it was just a wick, the wick just came up here and it didn't close, meaning like you see how perfect example. So say we're looking right here. If you're looking at this, price looks like this. It looks like exactly like what we want to see. Up, down, and then boom. it's technically the market structure shift, right? It took off one and took two. Both these like it's just like the move higher. But see how it just barely wicked it? It barely just it didn't even close above it. We want to see it close, meaning we want to see it be like this, like close above this high, because that just tells us like price wants to go higher. And if you look, if see people would have been like this, people would have done exactly this. Like, oh, we broke structure. This is our market structure shift. So that means price wants higher, right? And then boom, they long once it hits this fair value gap. Because remember, we enter our fair value gaps. The gaps are these. They would have automatically lost. They would have been like, all right, I'm gonna target whatever target up here. Put my stop beneath right here. Boom. Would have been losing trade, and that's because price didn't have an energetic move. Price barely touched it, kissed it, and went back down. Remember, you want to see displacement. You want to see a nice energetic move above. This is not energetic. But yeah, so that just breaks it down to you guys, and I'm pretty sure we'll see it right now. But yeah, so now we're waiting for an energetic move above higher. I don't know if I can see one. Something like this. Look, if we're waiting for a market structure shift, this is exactly what I want to look for. Price went down, higher, energetic move up, and then to go higher. See how this one works because price actually closed above. This is pre-market, so we don't really trade pre-market, but this is like just a good example because it happens all the time in the market. This is the way the market moves. So market structure, if you see how price energetically moved above, like big candles, it didn't just wick it. It closed above it. This candle closed above this high, and look, people would have longed right here, put their stop down here, and targeted whatever high, and look, it actually worked. If it would have targeted this high, it would have worked. So that's the difference between displacement and just like a liquidity seat. You want to see displacement. You want to see an energetic move. So yeah, so that's what we're going for. So in this exact moment, if we're live trading this, we want to see an energetic move. We want to see a nice little sweep and an energetic move higher. So this trading this day was actually kind of like difficult to read. I'm pretty sure because it was difficult for me. Not difficult, but just like sometimes the market gets kind of like sloppy and different in a way where you're like, fuck, like should I do it? Because look, so we had our nice little. We're right here right now. And next we want to see is it just place above this high to go higher. And if you look, price did. But the reason I didn't like this, the reason why I wouldn't long this, is because look how sloppy it looks. It doesn't look good. Remember when I showed you guys earlier? We want to see a move like this, like nice big candles. And if you look at this, when it broke above this high, price was indecisive. This candle didn't close above it. This candle didn't close above it, and this we finally had an energetic move high. But it's just more or less like there's no gap either. Like remember, we only want to trade gaps. There's this gap right here, but again, I don't like how look at this candle right here. This see how this candle went all the way up here and closed right here. It's like this is we call these indecisive candles. So candles that look like this, we call them dojis. If I can click it, if a candle looks like this, that's indecisive candle, and that's exactly what this candle is right here. You see how like so remember ranges. Did I teach you guys ranges? I don't know, but um, price went down here, went up here, and it closed right in the middle. That's just basically like it doesn't know what it wants to do. Obviously, the market knows what it wants to do, but like it's hard for us to tell. Like we want to see nice big candles. If this candle was never here and it was just like these nice big candles, then I would have for sure entered it. But remember, there's not really a nice gap, and we want to wait for it to come back to discount. So this gap is nice in discount. So if you would have lost in this trade, it would have been fine because remember we saw exactly what we want to see. We saw the market structure shift. So now it's like, all right, we buy here. This is where we're at right now. We're on the come down. So when we want to buy here, to see a move higher. But this is really where the market intuition and the market kind of like where you kind of like experience, I guess you could say. Like this doesn't look clear to me. Like when I was watching this live, I was like, I don't want to long this because it just doesn't look good. Like look at these candles too. Like wick, 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 wick. Like price will make it obvious. Price will be clear for you. Price will show you a good opportunity where it's like, all right, like I'm like it'll be obvious. It'll literally look like a sore thumb in front of your face. For me, at least now it does because I have like experience now. Like I understand it. Like I still do trades. You know what I mean? Like I could have still lost in this trade, but yeah. But so you're waiting for discount now. Like remember, we touched OTE of the bigger range, this range, and it's all fractal. You want to see it again. you want to see it again. So if you're waiting for a move down, you could have been like, all right, like price touched this, it's rejecting, but then boom, it just fell all the way down. And I feel like this was the reason because like just because price wasn't moving clean today in general. But yeah. So if you would have lost in this trade, it would have been fine. But again, so now say if we didn't enter this trade, we're like, all right, like this wasn't clean enough for me. I needed to be cleanly obvious. I needed to be clear, like something like this, like obviously like a nice move. Let me go back again just to prove it to you guys. It has to look like this. Like when you want to see a nice trade, it has to look like this. Like a nice couple candle formation, nice little move down and up. Tell me, what's the difference between these two? Tell me which one looks prettier. This one? Does this look prettier? Or this one? Obviously this one, right? And if you look, there's a standard deviation here too. I bet you this one hit 2.5. I didn't even check this one out. I'm just literally looking for some shit. Boom. See, look, perfect. That just goes to show you how powerful standard deviation is. Look, it barely tapped it, and it's rejected, went down. So that's what I'm saying. Standard deviation, and when market structure's clean, like it'll literally look like this. There's been trades where I've caught that look exactly like this, just so easy, so beautiful, and so obvious, like it just makes sense. So yeah, that's how powerful standard. It's like another little testament to standard deviation. But yeah, you want to wait for it to look pretty like that. So that's the reason why you wouldn't really enter on this trade because it doesn't look pretty. It will always look pretty. I mean, this could have worked still. Like there's a couple times where this will work and you didn't enter and the move it moves without you and that's fine, because at the end of the day you're gonna lose trades and you're gonna how to explain this. You're gonna lose on winning trades. Like say if you would have entered right here, put your stopper here, you would have been stopped out and then price could have just went all the way higher. This is how the market likes to fuck with you. Because say if you're like right here and you enter and you want to enter again, enter again, enter again, and you just keep losing, and the market eventually goes your way. Like you got to be okay with missing a setup. That's what's hard about trading, is missing a setup that you knew you could have won on. That's when like the mental game of trading comes in because this looks like our setup. You know what I mean? Like this looks like exactly what we wanted to see, and then once you lose it, like you start dealing with the mental effects of it. Like oh fuck, like does my strategy not work? Does the way I'm trading like is it not good anymore? But no, it's just in reality like the market does whatever it wants to do, and there's gonna be days where your setup's right in front of you and it's not gonna work. Look, this trade was perfect. 15-minute fair value gap. OTE tapped right here. Um, clean bullish structure, racking off for 1 minute. Oh, and there's an SMT right here also. Remember, when we see SMT, that's like, oh, that's like perfect. That's what we want to see sometimes. Like SMT, like everything we could have wanted to see. Because so this low was right here. So it's still SMT. Remember, where is this low at? This one. So that's what I'm saying. Like when also another thing to realize when the market conditions aren't too well is when the SMTs are kind of sporadic. Like see how this low. If watch, I'm gonna mark out all the SMTs. There's the SMT right here. There's SMT right here. There's SMT right here. Like this is where it gets like difficult because look at there's like 4 SMTs. You're like, what the fuck am I looking at? And look at ES is like taking all these lows, making it confusing. Like I'm working on both sides so you guys can understand. Right here. There's SMT right here. SMT right here. Basically, like it's sporadic. Like one thing I kind of acknowledge myself. I'm not gonna say I created it, but this is one thing. Like as when this my experience taught me. When SMTs are like this, usually the SMTs will be pretty solid. It'll be like an easy like usually it'll be easy. There'll probably be one SMT right here, and like market structure won't be confusing. But when it's like this, like that's how you know when the market conditions aren't too well. Meaning the correlating pairs aren't correlating too well. But but yeah, that's just a little like that's a little gem for you guys that you guys could remember. But yeah, so there's SMT right here. Remember. So if you're watching this live and say if you didn't want to answer right here, you're like, all right, I'm gonna be patient. You know what I mean? Like that's the biggest thing about trading. You want to be patient. If I was being patient right here, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just be patient, see whatever I want to see. Say you know that you've seen price react up to 1 hour, prices having bullish market structure. Another way to tell if price is being bullish if it's disrespecting bearish PD arrays. PD arrays are basically like just the gaps and like you have to watch the videos to understand that term. But once price starts disrespecting these gaps, the bearish ones, see how this is the bearish one, meaning the going down ones, and it's respecting the ones going higher, that's a way to tell that market, the direction of the market. Because I can go in the 5 minute and see how price closed above this. Eventually, see how it's kind of like choppy, as I've been saying, like crest kind of weird. But see how price closed above it right here. That's an easy telltale sign to understand where market's gonna go, because then it's boom, it's respecting bullish ones. That's a little more complex, but you guys will soon understand. Once you guys start understanding all the terms, all like the basically just the terminology, and you guys will soon understand more. But yeah, so now we're here. Let's get back on track. So we're right here. We're waiting for a good trade. Price tick this out again. But see how, like, I noticed right here, prices where it started getting cleaner. Like, see how right here was all sporadic, wiki, but right here it's like gap, gap, gap. I mean, that part doesn't make sense, but so there's SMT right here, and price never really gave us an entry right here because look, it just flew all the way up. That's what I'm saying. You could have been right about the direction. Like, say if you entered right here on this trade. See how you got stopped out, but price eventually did what you wanted to do. That's what I'm saying. You can lose on winning setups. The market would just fuck you over, and this is where you get emotional. This is where trading gets hard because you're like, bro, what the fuck? Like, I just lost right here, and I was right about the market. This is gonna happen, bro. Like, trading is a losing game. Like, you're gonna lose, and you just gotta accept it. You guys understand that? But yeah. So, say we're back here, and say if we wanted to catch a setup, you're like, all right, where can I get in at? So there's a couple ways that we can catch like a continuation. So remember I told you guys you don't want to buy high, but there's times where you can. If you're like good at the market and you understand what it's gonna do, then it's just more or less it comes with experience. So say you're right here, you're like, all right, cool. Like I still want to get in the market. Price still hasn't took out these two highs, which were my targets for my previous ones. So like, all right, so there's still a chance to get in. Maybe if price comes this 5 minute fair value gap or this one, then I might decide to get in. So now you're waiting. So this is why SMT is also very powerful, because so we're waiting for a trade. Oh shit, there's SMT right here. You're like, oh shoot, see this low, this low, and this low, they're correlated. ES already took that low. That means there's SMT. Oh, shoot. See, the price still never took out that low. See how price never took that low. The price never went below it, but ES did. These candles took out that low. So then boom, you're like, all right, cool. There's SMT right here, meaning there's a divergence, which tells me price could reverse. So now what am I waiting for? Waiting for displacement, or waiting for a bullish sign? So if price rejects the SMT like right away, that's like a good sign to join. Look at boom. Price has nice volume candles. If I go on the 30 second, I don't think you guys have access to 30 second, but you can see right here. See this little high? Price is all fractal, so if you know how to read price, it eventually gets easier. But see how price, this is high low. That's exactly that right there. Meaning obviously what are you waiting for now? You're waiting for the entry right here. So then go higher. So yeah, so price had the energetic move. You can be like, alright, cool. Price is rejecting this SMT. ES took that low. So now I have this. And you could have entered right here. This is the perfect entry. Again, I know this is where price gets complicated because there's specific rules you can have, like oh never buy high. But remember, this one's already like price already fulfilled this range, meaning price shouldn't come to back down here because remember, we're bullish. So if you want to, you can set your trade right here. Aim up here. for a nice little perfect 3-to-1 ratio. Remember, risk to reward ratio 3-to-1. If you're risking 1,000, you're making 3,000 off this trade. So let's see what happens. So boom, price tags you in. Another thing you gotta pay attention to, where you can wait for see how price rejected it, see how price wicked down here, and it closed all the way back here. That's what we want to see. We want to see price respect these. And playing around, then boom, big move. Took out one high, took out the other. I missed this trade. I was at work at this time. I was already leaving for work. This is like, what is this, 8:25? I'm already on the way to work, so I missed this trade, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's how you could have caught this trade. Like this is a pretty easy trade right here. Again, you're waiting for any confluences. You're waiting for something. Boom, there's SMT right here. Price displaced from the SMT. Displacement doesn't always mean. Oops, wrong one. Displacement doesn't always mean like a break above a high, like energetic move above a high. Like an energetic move can come from SMT. Like an SMT, according to ICT, you can enter off the first energetic move off SMT. You don't need a displacement, meaning like you don't need a. Like I just showed you guys, you don't need like a high to have energetic move above. This works. But yeah, so you can cut this trade, man. You're making good money on this trade. 1 to 3, you're risking 1,000 to make 3,000. That works. Obviously within like the range, it's 135. I'm not sure if you can see right there above my mouse, 135. So if you're risking 2 contracts, you're making 1,300, almost 1,400, and you're risking four. I would have my stop right here. Auto risk 400 to make almost 1,400. That's pretty solid. That's a good fucking day. But yeah, so that's how you couldn't cut the trade. Remember, SMTs are very powerful. I use SMTs all the time. Like, say if there's an SMT right here. Shit. Say if there's like an SMT. No, I'm not gonna use that example because that doesn't make sense. This is clear. So yeah, then I think there's a couple other trades you could have taken after. So, but eventually, once price took out these highs, I would already been like, all right, I'm good for the day. Because remember, there's a morning objective in price. Once price takes out like a high or like an objective or what it wanted to do in the first place, price tends to get slower. Like you see these candles, look how not clean this is. Look at up close candle. It's like barcoding. I call it barcoding, but like wiki. Look, all these candles look super gross and wiki, and these are just like up down up down up down. These candles aren't full. They're pretty like random sizes. Like, but I think there's a trade you could have taken. Let me see. Let me reset this. The only trade there was an afternoon session, but it still wasn't really too clear because look, it's just wicking, wicking. But you could probably caught a trader here. Hit discount, displace a little bit. No, I wouldn't have took any of these trades. So I'm not gonna show you guys that. But yeah, so that's what happened today. Hopefully you guys understand that video. Remember, price is fractal. It's not too difficult to understand sometimes. It's just watching this live, because within this whole range right here, this is like an hour and a half. So you gotta wait and watch every candle print. And remember, every candle is not just like every candle doesn't just form like this. Every candle has a range. Range meaning like, so say if we're looking at the hourly chart, and you're looking at this normal. Say it's a candle. So price can go like this. Price is like goes down like this, and it can go up, down. So literally within the whole minute, price is doing this, going up, down, down, up, down, and then until it closes. Once it closes, that's what this candle is. Like it's like the final form, but the candle does a lot of dancing around before it does anything. So yeah, so that's the trade you could have caught today. Not too bad, not too terrible. Was kind of wish it could have been cleaner. Like you would have wanted to see an entry right here. Like right here, if one of these candles, if this would have went like down here and it went up, this would have been the trade. But it didn't. That's what I'm saying. Price will sometimes make you miss out and make it harder than it has to be because they want to fuck with you. Remember, trading is psychological warfare. Like whoever makes a market and however the algorithm works, it knows how your brain works. It's gonna scare you out before you want to do anything. If you guys don't believe me, like trust me, the market's gonna make you freak out, or not like test necessarily freak out, but the market's gonna make you like be hesitant because again, these candles are not always like that. But yeah, if this did this, then this would have been the trade for sure. This would have been a nice fucking trade. It would have been a nice. This is the trades I usually catch. These are like my bread and butter trades, because this would have been this down, then boom, nice displacement above, retouch to touch wherever target we have. But see how the price just shot straight up and never gave us an entry? It never touched any of these gaps. Gap right here. There's another gap right here, another gap right here, but price never touched those. But yeah. So that was the price action for today. Hopefully you guys kind of understood that. If you guys have questions, hit me up. Deuces.